show appears. It's super effective. I am SSF. Hi. Pull my finger, please. Please? No? Screw you. I was polite. Ah.
Welcome to SonicLand.
Live from the magnificent state of Virginia, here's your host, the news dude of Sonic Paradox, Sonic Sega Fan, 1991. And there we are. That's a random intro that I had all to do with, but I also had nothing to do with. How does that make sense? I don't know. Welcome to the Sonic News Show. Uh, yeah. And I get bugged with a call. As a funk you. Welcome to the Sonic News Show, everyone. It's SSF here with another magnificent guest-filled edition, because I think I've had the entire, well, maybe 2/3 of the Sega and Sonic community on the show, but I, I don't know. I hope to have a really exciting show for you guys tonight, and I do believe we have a guest here. Probably the first time in a good while I've only had one single guest here instead of like 4 or 5, 10 of them like I had the past few weeks. Yes, Mr. SonicYoda of SEGA Driven, the founder and I believe the founder and owner, correct me if I'm wrong, of SEGA Driven.
That's correct. Hello.
It's pretty amazing how I know SEGA Driven has been well aware of my Twitter at least, and I believe uh just recently they had an interesting interview which I'm going to get to later in the show.
Okay.
But I do think Sega Driven's a great site, and of course I
Thank you
will,
very much.
yeah, and of course I shall, be helping out with the plugging later on in the show as well once this show actually ends. But
No worries, no worries.
yeah, but yeah, I do believe we have a busy show. But
Well, let's hope so, hey?
yeah, I don't know how quickly we'll get through half of it, but I imagine it'll be faster than the last few shows. Um, I'm just gonna check Twitter real quick because I'm that professional. Um, and I believe we have Titans Free listening right
Hello.
now.
Hey, you alright, mate?
Oh, geez, Sonic Rex actually retweeted me too, and FTA, and you. Wow, I don't think that many people have retweeted that in God knows how long.
What can I say? I'm a popular chap.
You are, aren't you? More popular than me, apparently. Oh, goodness. But yeah. Um, I do think let me see what the attendance is. I do believe we have 7 viewers in here right now, including Titan's Creed and FTA. We have the Skull Wolf. We have Sonic Fools 1234. We have Rabid Noodles. We have M20. We have Lunar Darkness 2. And then if I scroll up to the mod list, we have some guy named Sonic Sega Fan 1991. I should probably catch his live shows more often. He's such a handsome chap, isn't he?
Sorry?
I said, that's Sonic Sega Fan 1991 I see listen to chat. He's such a fine man, isn't he?
I'm sure he is. I have no doubt that he's probably a lovely person.
I should listen to his shows more often. Uh, yeah, moving on to that awkward note. One could tell I haven't been up for very long. I've only been up for like 4 hours. That sounds like a lot, but to
What
me,
time is it over there?
it's 5 p.m. for me.
You've only been up for 4 hours.
Yeah.
God.
uh,
I know it's the weekend, Donny, but man, make better use of your time.
I make better use of my time by drinking smoothies, apparently. Like the one I'm having right now and the other smoothie. Okay, let's just say I'm loaded with smoothies. Let's just
And you've rested well.
yes. I've rested well and Loaded up on smoothies. Stereotypical SSF. Um, but yeah, I forgot. We have topics to do. We have a show to do. So I guess we should get started then, right?
Yeah, no, sounds good to me.
Because I know there's not a whole lot of time you have. So
Well, no, I mean, I'm quite happy to stick around as long as it takes, so it's not fun. That's fine.
okay, it's not fine. It's fine. But yeah, yes, Lunar Darkness, I am a smoothie. But anyway, um, on that random note, my ADD for the win. Um, I do believe the first reviews for Sonic 4 Episode 2 came out. Speaking of Sonic 4 Episode 2, well,
Ah, yes. Is this Mr. Jim Sterling we're talking about here?
that, and I believe there was another review that came out recently. Let me look on TSSC News since that's where I first looked at it. Crap. It was, let me see, OXM and Destructoid both released reviews for Sonic 4 Episode 2. Why don't we get to the good review first? The review that actually made sense and had good reasoning for their rating, shall we? Um, let's see. That was official Xbox Magazine, as FTA said, and they rated it 7.5 out of 10. I imagine we're going to
Which
be
seems
getting.
reasonable to me.
That was slightly lower than episode 1, which was an 8 out of 10, but that's still a great score. I mean,
There
it
seems to be this thing now that if it's a 7, then it's an average game, and I don't understand that mentality whatsoever. It's like it's not. It's clearly above average by a good 2 points.
it is. I mean, it's not a bad score at all. I mean, it could be it could be a lot worse, but it could be a lot better. I mean, that's with every score really, except, yeah. Number that what Pete said, numbers are irrelevant in reviews these days.
Well, I think there definitely needs to be a bit of more of a move away from numbers to reviews. I like what some people do, where they do like pros and cons, like good points, bad points, and in their summary at the end. It's a lot easier to reference to, and it gives you an actual description of why they've marked things down. Whereas numbers are just so broad now. It's like it really doesn't give you an accurate description, and it's like you give something a number, then you're comparing it to everything else you've reviewed with a number as well. And some games don't review similar to different games. You can't compare a game from one genre to another genre. It's just they're their own thing. So
Definitely.
yeah,
I
it's a big grey area in my opinion.
yeah, I can't help but wonder what if uh these critics and reviewers actually they is it me or they have this this kind of like a numbers speak louder than words mentality, where they think their rating will do all the talking, but they don't actually get into good details about how well the game is. I'm not saying every reviewer is this way, but I think there have been a few cases where that's been the case. But I mean,
Well, I mean, having the number is literally just a case of making sure that the review gets posted on Metacritic nowadays, because that seems to be the popular place for people to go for reviews, because they can do a compare and see what everybody's saying. I think it's the big review search engine, isn't it? So it's generally a case. If you've got a number on the end, then you're going to be on Metacritic regardless. So yeah, I
yeah,
think it's a shame that that's what reviewers are aiming for, where instead of actually writing a good review, but that seems to be the way things are going.
yeah, I'm gonna be very, very blunt. I hate reviews. I hate the critical, reviews because A, I feel like they get a little too nitpicky at times, more nitpicky than they really should. And
Mm.
B, I'd rather use my own opinions on how good a game is and not what some critic is telling me. I mean,
I think they've got like they're definitely there's definitely a need for them in a case of sometimes you don't want to go and buy a game on the off chance that you're going to like it. I need like some form of opinion to judge a purchase, because I don't want to be wasting money on loads and loads of games, and and only half of them are worth playing. So I think there's a place for them, any sort of opinion regarding games. But I think I can agree with you that they're not entirely, they're not completely important, and there should be an element of your own opinion. I mean, like for instance, I'm playing a game called Datura on PSN, which has been reviewed like very very average scores, like fives and sixes, and but I want to take a chance on it just because it sounded so interesting, and I've ended up really enjoying it. So there is that element to it as well.
Definitely. I mean, there's a few, like I said, there were some positive things about the reviews, but not so much that I would worship them and say, "Oh my God, these guys are so right. I'm not getting this game because they say so."
Yeah, well, that's just loyalists for you, isn't it? Like,
Yeah,
the fans get behind it so far that they're not going to let those things go. So it's, yeah, I think you can't judge one opinion on an entire game. To be honest with there's got to be some sort of input from yourself so that you can suss out whether you like it. What one reviewer likes might not be the same what you like. So you need your element to it as well.
yeah. It's more than just their opinions. There's also the matter of your own. You need to have
Yeah.
your own opinions on games as well, because,
Oh,
well,
totally.
a critic is not your voice. You have your voice, the critics have theirs. But one
Hmm.
thing the critics can never ever say is that they speak for you when they don't.
Oh no, no, totally. And anybody doing that is so far up their own arse. I don't want to be involved with those sort of people.
Well, speaking of people who have their uh, stuff so far up their ass, apparently, as if on cue, Jim Sterling tweeted, "Tonight they suffer, tomorrow we water ski." Apparently,
Right.
apparently the thought of someone possibly streaming about him, someone ranting about him, is making him want to water ski. Um, I don't know.
Okay.
But
I would pay money to see Jim Sterling water ski. I've got to say that would be hilarious to watch.
yeah, I guess it's only fitting too, considering, well, now we get to the oh so wonderful review that he made, about episode 2.
I've never been a fan of Jim. I've got to say, he is. I can I can kind of see where he's coming from. If he generally feels like the level design is weak, then that's fine. But from what I've seen by previews and gameplay videos and whatnot regarding Sonic 4, it seems like physics and things are generally looking better. Momentum-based gameplay is back, and that can only be a good thing. So that instantly improves it over Episode 1 in my book.
Yeah,
And I don't see how bad the the level design can be that you'd mark it down so heavily. It really really it can't be that bad, but maybe he's right. I don't know. I've got to experience it for myself. So come next week we should hopefully be forming our own opinions and telling Jim to shove off.
yeah. It's gonna be interesting to see how the game turns out, but yes, in
I've
case
got high hopes
anyone's
for it. I think I you know from like I say, from what I'm reading and what I'm seeing, it looks like it's a better playing experience than episode 1. But I could be wrong. So we'll see how it goes.
yeah, it'll be a doozy. I do plan on getting the game when it comes out on Xbox Live. I believe it is on the 16th. Uh,
I think it's 15th for us. I can't remember. No,
as
wait, no, it would be 16th because that's Wednesday, isn't it? Yeah, that's when digital releases come out. I think
Yeah, the 16th I believe is when it comes out in America on the 360 on Xbox Live. I might be wrong.
that's the one. Yeah, I think you're right. No, actually, yeah, that's fine.
Yeah. I guess I should explain a little bit more detail for those who weren't aware. But yes, Jim Sterling did review, Jim Sterling of Destructoid did review Sonic 4 Episode 2, just like he reviewed Sonic 4 Episode 1. And Episode 2 he rated a 5 out of 10. Yeah. For reference, Sterling also did, as I said, Sterling did review Episode 1, but he rated Episode 1 an 8 out of 10.
See, that just doesn't sound right in my book whatsoever.
Yeah, I'm just it's like, wait, what?
Yeah,
He does as it said before, he doesn't really talk about the physics. He does say they improved, but he really talks about the level design being monotonous. He talks about the soundtrack being awful, and he says there's a general lack of heart. Now, I don't know what that means by a general lack of heart, but I'm assuming he means that Sega didn't put much effort into it. Where I honestly could say that's kind of a little bit bold because as we said before, they did improve on the physics, which was the biggest complaint. I mean, that was pretty much the problem just about everyone had was the physics. And the
it would
only other,
appear that this episode is kind of, you know, the love letter to fans. That's the impression I get, is that they've kind of addressed everything that people have picked up, and there's been so much back and forth between Sega and the fans over this, and I can't see how there'd be no effort regarding considering they've been really pushing that.
yeah, I should clarify to those watching, that I have no problem if he were had rated it a 5 out of 10, if he had given good reasons for it. That's my problem. It's not that he
Mm.
rated it at a 5 out of 10, it's that he rated it a 5 out of 10 with bad reasoning. He didn't really give good reasonings to why he rated it that. That's where I have a problem with it. If
Yeah,
he,
no, I think that's where most people have a problem with it.
yeah, it's not so much that he just plain rated it 5 out of 10, it's that why he rated it. It's just very, very stupid, shitty reasons. Like, I mean, the level design, okay. I don't know how that got monotonous, but I guess we'll see exactly what he means by that, if that's exactly what he meant by that, when the game comes out. And someone's saying the audio's gone. Nope, it still seems to be working for me. Um, don't know what that is all about, but the level design is not really that bad. Judging from what I've seen, in the gameplay, the soundtrack, I don't want to say it's horrible, but I think people are a little bit more happy about it than they were in episode one. Like there's more like I want to say there's more division between the fans about the soundtrack. Whereas last episode it was mostly it's bad. This time it's either good or bad. So that's division, but it's better than mostly bad. I mean, it
Yeah, no, I can see where you're coming from. I haven't actually heard any of the episode two soundtrack myself. I've kind of been leaving that so that I can experience it when it all comes out. Um, but has there been more of a move away from using the Mega Drive, sorry, the Genesis drums that they did on the previous soundtrack?
I think they kind of stuck to them a little, but they did make
Oh, okay.
sure there was a bit more variety in the music. Like,
Yeah, because I think that's kind of the general impression I get when people talk about the episode one soundtrack is that it's not a greatly varied soundtrack, and the instrumentation is all very similar in every song, and it all becomes, it just blends into one big thing. Whereas, the good, well, opinion wise, the good Sonic music that I feel is good is the stuff that you can, it's all very different. Like each song has its own theme. You can whistle it. It's like it sticks in your head, and it's very distinct to that stage. Whereas, yeah, episode one, it does feel like you could almost change any of the songs out from any of the stages, and it would still sound very similar.
that's the sad truth is that the music did have flaws, and
Mm.
it's not Sonic Chronicles flawed, but I mean, it's still got a few problems in there. I mean, I mean, not every soundtrack's going to be, godlike, although to be fair, Sonic music as a whole tends to feel that way. I mean,
Yeah, I wouldn't. There's very a rare time when a soundtrack is bad. And I think, I mean, like the music generally in episode one is quite good music, but like I say, the instrumentation is so samey, it makes it all blend into one thing. So yeah, if they'd have gone a little bit more interesting with the instruments, like actually, like for instance, if you look at colors, there's brass instruments and guitars and things going on in mad ways in every song. It's like every each song feels like its own thing, which is I think it was what they missed from episode one.
Definitely. It's more so a matter of opinion on the soundtrack, and while, some people like it, some people don't. I think in the case of episode 2, I think more people are growing to the music than in episode 2 than episode 1. And
Mm.
that means that there is an improvement.
Yeah,
And
no, well,
where and this general lack of heart criticism that Jim gave, I don't even know what that is. I don't know what he means by that.
his reasoning is very ambiguous, and I think people need to move away from Jim as if they're looking for an opinion because he's been very strange with most of the Sonic games. I think didn't they give like Sonic Colors a really really low score, like 4 or something out of
Yeah,
10. I don't know
he
if that was Jim, but
that was Jim who rated Sonic Colors a 4.5.
see that gives me enough reason not to trust that man because I love Sonic Colors. I think that's one of the best 3D Sonic games in recent years. They got like it's just so much fun. They really got things right on that game. Like even the voice acting and the scripting is just really really good fun to listen to. I have no idea where he's got that 4.5 from. Out of his arse.
Well, I'm sure he did like the gift Sega gave him for that, the this giant fucking poster. I believe it was that Sega trolled him with, but
Well, at
that
least Sega have got a sense of humor because
Jim sure
the fans
doesn't.
sure as hell don't.
Yeah, I mean, if I remember correctly, he had a really annoyed response to Sega's trolling attempt, and it's really sad. It's like that's another thing I don't really like about the critics all that much is isn't mere they do not have really much of a sense of humor.
I think it's just they've got obviously got to stand behind their opinion. If they're going to make that opinion, then they've got to stand behind it and support it. So there's always that element to it, but it does you do get that impression, don't you? I've got to agree with you sometimes. I mean, certain reviewers are different. I can't vouch for everyone, but it does. I think they're just defending their work and sticking behind their opinion more than anything.
I'm glad Sega defended their post very nicely, because, I for one approve of our poster overlords. Um, but yeah, I'm curious to see if Sega will do the same things they did last week. I mean, not last week. What am I saying? It would have been funny if it had been last week, but yeah, it would be funny to see if Sega does a similar thing this time. But I mean,
I
whatever the
think
case,
I think they really need to ignore him, to be honest with you, because just giving him more floor space is just it. He doesn't need the attention at the end of the day. It's not. It's not. He doesn't deserve it. If
he
he's going
doesn't.
to make rubbish, opinions and things, and not really give a proper reasoning, or and give you ambiguous reasoning, it's just you need to ignore that and go somewhere else because you're just arguing about it and going to the site to tell him he's an idiot. It's just giving them more hits. You don't want to be
It
giving them
is.
more hits.
It is, and I just I think the final opinions on just how well Sonic 4 Episode 2 is will probably come in, later this week. Because as we've said, Sonic 4 Episode 2, this is the final show, Sonic News show before Sonic 4 Episode 2 comes out. Like,
Mm,
there's no question about it. Sonic 4 Episode 2 comes out in just a few days, as a matter of fact.
mm.
So, as I said, I should be getting the game the moment it comes out on Xbox Live. I already have 1,200 Microsoft points in my. No, 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 no. No, this is not the last Sonic News show. Period. Lunar Darkness. This is the this is the final Sonic News show before Sonic 4 Episode 2 comes out. Like, there's gonna be this is the final Sonic News show before Sonic 4 Episode 2 comes out. You know, there's gonna be another one next week, but yeah, there's gonna be I believe some gameplay of Sonic 4 Episode 2 from the Sonic show as time passes. I believe, and I'll explain a little bit more later on, but yeah, Diablo 3 is on Tuesday according to Pete, so so for Diablo fans, go get your Diablo 3. I'll fist pump or something. You do the fist pump or
I'll
uh
just ignore you because I don't like RPGs.
Lunar Darkness. I highly suggest not telling people to get out. They don't have to like episode 2, you know. It's his opinion if he doesn't care about it. But yeah, Sonic 4 Episode 2 comes out 3 days. It's worth 1,200 Microsoft points, which is the equivalent in American money of $15, which I believe is something like what, £9 or something like that? 9.99
Maybe
pounds?
not that low, but it's got to be around the £10 mark.
Yeah. So it comes out on PSN May 15th. It comes out on Xbox Live May 16th. So to be fair, that's actually the day after tomorrow that the game
Yeah.
comes out. Wow. That doesn't feel so close. I guess because as I said, I'm waiting for the 360 version to come out, not the PSN one. So,
Mm.
who knows? I might actually do a little launch party stream for the game. Who knows? I didn't do one for Generations because I didn't really get the chance to. But nevertheless, if there is one, I'll mention it on Twitter. But if anyone wishes to be in that stream, if it does happen, feel free to contact me on Twitter. I don't know for sure, but if we do have a launch party, it won't maybe go for a few hours, maybe two, somewhere around there. We can that can be worked out later on. Like I said, it's not even certain that it will happen, but anyway, I cannot believe this game is even being considered a re-release, but Sonic Labyrinth got re-released in the European 3DS eShop.
Yeah, that was a bit bizarre, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's kind of funny how we're getting Sonic 4 Episode 2 coming out and you know the next week and then Sega has to remind us, "Hey guys, trollolol, Sonic Labyrinth, trollolol." Um
Maybe people are so used to Sonic letting them down that they needed a release so that they could bring people's spirits down as well. So they're giving you Labyrinth as well.
yeah, instead of setting they troll their fans with not posters but Labyrinth. Uh if it wasn't Labyrinth, it's a certain other game that came out 5, 6 years ago. Um, you know, Sonic 2006. Um,
Let's not talk about that game.
yeah, about that. Moving on. Um, I guess it's also fitting that a certain convention is getting some attention, and I just rhymed there. It only figures that Summer Sonic gets some focus too, as of this past week, there's been really a lot of news of Summer of Sonic. It's
Oh yeah,
piling
been
in.
piling in.
Yeah, it's really piling in. I guess the main reason because the convention's so close from starting. Like it's a couple months away. In fact, it's less than a couple months away now. I think it's like a month and a half from now that the game's supposed to begin, or not the game's supposed to begin. The convention's supposed to begin. I am not with it today. Uh,
But it's July 7th. I know that off the top of my head. So yeah,
yeah,
it's
yeah.
it is coming around soon,
I
which
don't.
is kind of scary, really, because I'm
Yeah.
going to be working.
Yeah, I'd imagine it'll be starting and closing. The doors of operation will be the same times as before, where it was last year. And
I can't vouch, unfortunately, but I'm sure those things will get announced sooner or later. So
Well, I mean, as I said, the show, the show, the convention, uh, was announced recently. It has been announced. There's been a few guests. As I said, we know Crush 40 is gonna be there. We know what was his name? From the Archie comics, I believe. Um, can't
Oh,
remember.
what from Fleetway? You mean? Sorry, Nigel Dobbin.
Yeah, I believe that was the person that said they'd be attending this year.
Yeah, they
Um,
kind of jumped the gun and haven't actually been officially announced, but they've decided that they're going to announce themselves. So that's all right.
yeah, and also as of announced, as in the past week, executive producer Steve Lysett of Sonic and All Stars Racing Transformed has been announced to be at Summer Sonic and Summer Sonic and Sonic Boom. I'm gonna take a drink. Uh, but yeah, and one reason because of this is because the game itself, All Stars Racing Transformed, will be at Summer Sonic. You'll be able to play the game at Summer Sonic and Sonic Boom. That is going to be, as was announced, the very, very first gameplay we'll be seeing of the game that, firsthand. As in, people will be able to play a demo of it. But those who are going to be at home, we're kind of screwed. Um, yeah,
Well,
we,
the good thing is there's obviously going to be a lot of opinion that comes out of that, and people are going to be talking about it. So then people at home aren't going to completely, miss out because they're going to get new information regarding the game. So there is that one. There is that way of looking at it as well.
yeah, I am pretty optimistic for All Stars Racing Transformed, and to find out that it is going to be going to have a demo booth, playing booth at Summer Sonic and Sonic Boom. I like that. That's going to really help the convention out because as we know, there's not going to be any Sonic games by then. So, as we've
Well, yeah. Well, episode 2 is going to be out, so
for once,
there's
not
not a traditional Sonic game coming up, but there
something.
is the racer.
Yeah, there's something. I mean, as I said, it's not. We've said it's not a pure Sonic game. But it's uh yeah, and okay, it's this argument again. Why is Sonic still in the car?
To make it fair. We don't
Yes.
need to have this argument over and over again.
Well, if anyone feels free to quote a certain Sonic short, by all means. One, two, three, four. And that's why Sonic Drift sucks. Uh, yeah, it's really saying a lot when I'm gonna be blunt about this, people. There's a reason why Sonic's in a car. There's no memo that says Sonic can't drive cars. There's no memo that says Sonic can't hold swords. I mean, it's weird to see him hold a sword, and it might be weird to see him in a car, but there's no memo that says he's not supposed to. I mean, he pretty much, the thing about Sonic is that he just does whatever he pleases, and if it means getting the job done, saving the world and stuff, he's gonna do it. Which means if he needs to use a sword, he's gonna use a sword. You know, he just doesn't use guns because, well, they're guns. Uh,
We don't need to go there.
yeah, yeah, that's gonna start up another
But no,
argument about it.
it's just it it's a competitive racing game, okay, and you can't have Sonic overpowered because it's just not going to work, is it? So you can't have him on foot just blitzing everybody. It's not going to be fun, is it? It needs to be competitive. So he needs to be in a car because everybody else is in a car.
Yeah,
It's as simple as that.
yeah, like I said, it's fair. I mean, why should Sonic, like take Black Knight for example. Why should Sonic uh face people with swords without a sword? How exactly is that fair? I mean, remember the Knights of the Round Table in the Black Knight were Sonic characters. I mean, it and they had swords. I mean, it's very blatant.
Yeah, no, it makes sense in the grand scheme of things. I don't think I'd compare All Stars Racing and Black Knight on the same on the same board because whereas I feel All Stars works, Black Knight doesn't.
Yeah. It's
But yeah, no, it's I understand the mentality. Yeah, but it makes sense. You put them in a level playing ground. That's the idea.
yeah, I mean, of course Sonic, will actually run around sometimes, but he does that if he wants to. He doesn't actually the general premise is that Sonic is platforming with an emphasis on speed. Speed then doesn't mean Sonic must run at the speed of sound in every single game. And to be
Mm.
fair, this isn't technically a Sonic game anyway, you
Yeah, yeah,
know. So seeing Sonic driving a car isn't exactly surprising if this isn't technically a Sonic game.
yeah.
As I said, it's really no one, Sega never ever said that Sonic can't drive cars, Sonic can't use guns, Sonic can't use guns. Well, that's a entirely different story. But anyway, Sonic can't drive cars, Sonic can't use gliders, Sonic can't, be in submarines, he can't use swords. Yeah, what KC said, it's a game. If it's fun, it's fun. Plain and simple. If Sonic's in a car, he's in a car. That shouldn't matter. I mean, it's plain and simple.
Yeah, no,
Sonic,
I agree. So
yeah, I
it,
mean, it doesn't matter what Sonic is driving in, as long as he's still the same Sonic we're used to, and he's going to, I'd imagine. I mean, it's I'm being very blatant, and Sonic with a lightsaber would be really, really interesting, needless to say. I could see it now. Sonic and Eggman are battling with lightsabers, and Sonic, I am your father.
I
And
feel this is somewhat apt that there's a person in the chat room with you called SonicYoda.
yeah, that speaking of which,
So.
yeah, Yoda. Um, oh goodness. But I guess it figures that, people still have some grudges from first All Stars Racing, and I remember when All Stars Racing 1 was announced that people had this problem, and I'm not surprised that the problem's still around. But
It's
nevertheless,
going to be it's just going to be one of those long-standing arguments that just don't need to happen.
yeah.
It's you could I mean put it this way, you could put the exact same thing with the what's it in Mario Kart. Um, can you play as the turtles?
In Mario Kart Wii or 7?
Just in general, in any of them, they've been playable characters before, haven't they? The turtles.
Yes, I do believe a toad has been playable in,
No, sorry, the turtles,
oh,
the
Turtles,
shells.
Koopas. Okay,
Yeah, Koopas.
yes, I do believe they're having Koopas. In fact, I do believe
Well,
Mario Kart Wii had a Koopa that was playable and a
yeah.
Dry Bones.
Well, the
So,
Koopas have had wings, so why can't they could just fly around the track and win?
yeah,
But that's not fair, is it?
yeah,
So they're in cars. It's the same thing. It's the same mentality.
yeah, and
Sonic's too quick to be on his feet,
yeah,
so he needs to be in a car, so it's safe for everybody else. So yeah, end of argument. Let's
y-
not have this anymore.
yeah, and Bowser's a fat ass. Why does he need to ride a little car? Um, well, I wouldn't consider him a fat ass, so to speak, but he is large. Um, speaking of
It needs
large,
to
speaking of large, the way Summer Sonic had had a large ticket wave. The first of the tickets for Summer Sonic have been given away in 2 minutes 34 seconds. That is.
Which is mad to think, I've got to say.
Yes.
I can't believe it's got this popular that we can sell 400 tickets in 180 seconds.
It's insane. It really is. I mean, I don't know um what will happen if this gets even I can't imagine, what will happen when Summer Sonic gets even larger in size and more popular, how quickly the
It
tickets
just,
will.
it, yeah. I mean, I was a little bit worried that this year we were going to have a bit of a drop in attendance, mainly because it's been moved out of London and we're now a little bit south of England, in Brighton. But after today's response, wow, I'm just amazed, really, that this little event started by fans has now got to selling that amount of tickets in such a short space of time. It's mad. It's mad to think.
It's insane. It really is. And of course, quite a few people are not exactly happy about the fact that they missed out so quickly because, like was the case, the tickets were sold current kind of early in the morning for those in the U.S., I believe. I think
Yeah.
the tickets went on sale like 3, 5 in the morning, and
Oh, okay. Right. Yep.
somewhere early in the morning. I know I was not up for it at all. Like I know beyond a shadow of a doubt I was not up for when the first tickets were
Mm.
sold. And yeah, I agree with Pete. There's still more tickets to come. This is not the
Oh
final
well, I
wave.
mean, that was the idea, isn't it? It's that we give people two opportunities to get tickets. So because we know it's a popular event, and it's there's got to. I think it's the best way of doing it. At the end of the day, it's got to a point now where to do them all in one bulk would be unfair for people that aren't available on that day. They get another opportunity to do it, and obviously after today's exercise and tickets going very quickly. I mean, there's obviously people have to be now prepared for that next with the next bulk. It might go at a similar speed. It might go a little bit slower. I don't know, but at least now with this first bulk of tickets, people are aware of what's going to happen, how it's going to work, and there's another date for them to have a chance of getting a ticket. So
Yeah, the tickets will be out, soon. I mean, there's gonna be another wave,
mm.
and it's gonna happen sooner or later. I think they said they were gonna announce the next wave will take place next week. I'd imagine they're probably gonna have another wave or two after that, and then maybe one last giant wave of the last of the tickets. But otherwise, I
Yeah,
don't
I don't
really.
know what the plan is regarding like how many more waves of tickets they're going to sell or not, but there's at least another opportunity to get tickets. So there's that going. So
Yeah, I mean, I know beyond a shadow of a doubt that the Summer Sonic staff did not expect the tickets to get sold that quickly. I mean,
no, I don't think anybody really did. I
okay,
think I mean in past years it's been a good. I know they've sold quick, like in an hour or so, but still there's like a nice, a decent window of opportunity to get tickets there.
okay, yeah.
Whereas,
According to Pete, there will be one more wave. So there's gonna be one more chance for people to get tickets, and then I'd imagine things will get a little bit more difficult than that. But yeah, I do agree with Casey. I don't think actually I don't want to say necessarily that there have been a lot of drama because of Summer Sonic, but I have seen a few, tiffs every now and then on Twitter. But
mm,
otherwise, I think people have been generally calm about, Twitter. They haven't really, I mean, Twitter about the convention. I mean,
I mean, we have no control over how people are going to react to tickets at the end of the day. If if obviously things are now at a stage where this event is now a very very popular one, and there's not a lot we can do about that. I'm afraid we can only offer the tickets in different bulks so that there's two opportunities to do it, and it's the best thing we can do. Otherwise, it would have been a case of do them all in one hit, and maybe we would have sold 1,000 tickets in 4 minutes or something ridiculous. It would have still been difficult, and people would have been let down. Unfortunately, that's just the way things go. It's the same with concerts and gigs and things. It's like if a big band announces a gig and then it goes on sale, then it has been a case that they sell out in like 5 minutes.
yeah, I mean, there's nothing you can do. The more popular the whatever it is you're buying a ticket for, the quicker they're
Mm.
gonna go. You have to be, you know, basically, if you don't get a ticket, you're screwed. There's nothing you can do about it. It happens. I mean, good luck next
I
time.
mean, yeah, obviously we want as many people to come as possible, but it's an unfortunate reality that some people are going to be let down because they are up against however many people in the country who also want to come. So it's a shame, I know, but it's the harsh reality of having the amount of space that we do for guests and things. It's yeah, we can't we can't accommodate everyone, unfortunately, and we'd love to, but that's just not the way things work.
Yeah, I mean, as I accidentally knocked my empty smoothie bottle over, um, and it falls
Thank
on
God
the
it was
floor.
empty.
Yeah, good thing. Um, it's no doubt in my mind. It's not like this convention is going away. This is gonna be the final year. There's gonna be another chance
No, no,
next
not at
year.
all. And I mean, it's not like the only one in the world. We have Sonic Boom now as well. There is that, for another side of the world. So it's there's and they. I mean, I'm not going to say they're the same, but they're similar conventions. They've got the same sort of community attitude, and they've obviously going to both have Sonic and All Stars Racing Transformed. So there's that. So yeah, it's not like it's the only chance this year that you have to experience something like that.
Yeah, yeah. Both also have Crush 40.
Well, there you go. So
Yeah, it. Yeah, I know I can understand the frustration, especially for those who say maybe there's some people out there they've been trying every year now to get a ticket. They have the money, they're just trying to get a ticket, and
mm,
only so much you can take, like only so many times, and you're just getting more and more frustrated. And, this year, and then like say this year was the final straw. You just fed up. You're frustrated. I could understand some frustration happening over time, but it's like I said, this isn't gonna be the last Summer Sonic. There's going to be many more chances to try again, and I keep knocking this bottle over. I'm gonna probably have to throw it away once I'm done with this show. Uh, yeah. Um, yes, I agree with FTA. Only Summer Sonic has Lewis in a suit. Uh,
this
something tells me your
is like
suit.
the worst. This is like the worst kept secret in the world.
Yeah, something tells me that your suit is going to be a guest on the show on this convention someday. Ladies and gentlemen, presenting
It's
a
not my
veteran,
suit.
presenting a veteran of Summer Sonic, it's Lewis's suit. Um,
That's belong to me. A word for Sega.
yes, it's Sega endorsing your suits. Um, that would be interesting. I, 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 uh, I could see Summer Sonic going well, and of course, I don't know if anyone knows by now, but yes, I do plan on doing coverage of Summer Sonic. I don't know exactly how I'm gonna do it though. There's no doubt in my mind I am gonna live stream the coverage. It's just a matter of exactly what I'm going to show that I'm not certain about yet. Time's gonna have to pass first, and I'm gonna have to work a few things out. But if indeed I can, um, you know, figure something out, don't be surprised if the entire time Summer Sonic, excuse me, takes place, that I will be streaming coverage of it. So while you're looking up coverage of it, I'll probably be around to cover it if you guys need the latest information on that as Summer Sonic is taking place, and of course we'll be enjoying the Crush 40, you know, performance together because I already know. Uh, Now that we know Crush 40 is gonna be performing, we don't know how long, but I'm assuming they're gonna be playing their new songs there, so we may get
I
a
mean, I don't know any more than you, but I think, well, as a man who also performs in a band, I think they're gonna want to plug their most recent material. So
yeah.
that's that's what they've got coming out or out. So they're gonna want to showcase whatever's new.
Yeah, I don't know, Pete. I don't know. I'm we'll see. I mean, yeah, I'm hoping it's gonna be for 45 minutes as well. I mean, we're not gonna have, I'd imagine Live and Learn will probably get played because it's Live and Learn. I mean,
I think
Maybe,
they'd be. I think they'd be stupid not to.
yeah.
I think
I
you're kind of guaranteed live and learn and open your heart.
yeah. Open Your Heart would. I don't know. Did they play Open Your Heart last time?
I don't know off the top of my head.
I can't recall. Perhaps
I
Pete and
really don't.
FTA know, but okay. Yeah. FTA says they did. Um. Okay. Yeah. So they did play Open Your Heart. I don't know why I don't remember that, but I'm an idiot.
So used to hearing it, Connie.
Yeah. Okay, so Open Your Heart and Live and Learn were the only full tracks they played. So they played a medley of sorts at for the performance. It was somewhat of a medley with a few exceptions. That's what I'm guessing. Um,
I don't. I don't think they did. I think they did full songs. I remember them doing "I Am All of Me," and that had like an extended intro as well.
yeah, yeah, they pretty much played the first verse and chorus for most of the songs. So that makes sense. Yeah, it's pretty interesting to see what Crush 40 will play this year. Like I said, I'd imagine that again those two songs will get full playings, and I do believe we might actually hear. Have we actually? Is there any people that were actually gonna be? Were Crush 40 supposed to play their new songs anywhere else before Summer of Sonic?
Um, I don't think they're booked anywhere else. I know Jun's played at the Tokyo Joypolis, but I think that was with the other two members of the live band of Crush 40, but no Johnny. So they were literally just doing like instrumental stuff.
Yeah, definitely. It's going to be. I wouldn't be surprised, you know. I really really wish I could go. Unfortunately I can't. You know, even if I did get a ticket, I wouldn't be able to, find any use for it because I wouldn't be able to go to the UK. I don't have the capabilities to at this time, but I'm hoping sometime in the future, I'm really, really hoping this, that I should be able to attend Summer Sonic at some point. And rest assured that if I do attend, once I do attend, I'm hoping to see some good fans. Wouldn't be surprised if I'll be meeting quite a few of you guys, and I hope we'll have a good
Oh,
time
that's
there.
one of the best things about it for me personally is
Yeah,
meeting everybody like face to face and actually having a talk, and it's one of the best things about the event, hands down.
yeah,
So it'd be awesome to have you there, Donny.
it would. I mean, it's like I said, it's more so a matter of money, of course. You know, it's not easy to go from the East Coast of America all the way to the UK. It's not easy on my end.
I can imagine.
Yeah, but once I'm able to do that, rest assured, I will find all of you, and if I do get any hugs, you will get a hug right back. But
It's kind of a two-way thing, a hug.
yeah, if I once I do go to Summer Sonic, I'm thinking about maybe wearing an SP shirt so I'd be recognizable because, of course, everyone, of course, knows me best as being one of the guys higher ups at Sonic Paradox. So I'd imagine, wearing an SP shirt, being the only guy wearing one will stand out. But that and my red hair. But
But no, that's what people have done in the past. I remember Zizu from Sonic Cage Dome used to wear a Sonic Cage Dome shirt as well as Mike as well. And um, well, I mean, Kevin, um, Kevin Eva, and Sven Jocelyn have always worn like TSS shirts or Sonic Rex ones. So it's generally what people do.
yeah, they want to make sure they stand out and they're being identified. I don't know how many people would actually be there, but if I run into any familiar people, like say if let me see, say if JAK Disco Ponies was there and I ran into him, of course we'd probably talk for a good while because he and I have never really met face to face. So you know,
No,
it's
it's like I say, it's one of the best things about this event is actually getting to meet fans and talk Sonic with them because yeah, what, talking to people on the internet and whatnot is nothing to actually talking to people in real life, and it's really good to see. And I've made lots of good friends from Summer of Sonic, so there's also that.
Yes, that's the main thing I love about Summer Sonic is, you know, I don't really have to worry about running into a crap ton of strangers. You can go to Summer of Sonic and you'll find plenty of familiar faces. You're pretty much in the in crowd, so to speak. And and it feels great being able to hang around with people with the same interests as you and running into people you've seen on the internet many times and talked to on Skype or Twitter or Facebook, and it feels great. It really does. I mean,
Oh
there's
no, totally.
it. I mean, of course, the events that happen at Summer Sonic are just as great, but you know, meeting people you like to talk to on the internet is even just as great. I mean, it's fun hanging out. I know it's fun hanging out with people. I've seen, you know, it sounds to me like it's the time of your lives, and it's something I'd love to be a part of someday. So, you know, just
I'm sure there'll
meeting
be
you
an
guys.
opportunity for me.
But, it won't be this year, but I imagine hopefully next year I can go, but we'll see.
Have you considered Boom or not?
Sonic Boom is even kind of out of my reach because that's all the way across the other side of the country, so it's Sonic Boom, albeit closer than the UK, it's still kind of out of my
Yeah.
reach. And
Oh, fair
honestly,
enough.
and honestly, as much as I would like Sonic Boom, honestly, I'd consider Summer of Sonic like the main deal. 'Cause Sonic Boom, while it's great in its own ways, honestly, I don't think I think it's a scaled down Summer of Sonic, so to speak. I don't think it doesn't have quite as much with it as Summer Sonic does. I mean,
A lot of people are going to be happy that you've said that, man.
well, I'm not saying that it's a horrible convention. I'm just saying I think they could make it a lot better. You know, I think they could add a lot.
Well, I
Um,
mean, the difference is obviously Sonic Boom is a completely Sega run event, and Summer of Sonic there is a considerable fan, contribution to the event as well. So there are those differences. I can't vouch for Sonic Boom and how it feels or how different it is from Summer of Sonic and not being there, not ever been. But like there is there are those distinguished features about them. So hopefully, that comes across as a positive thing with Sonic.
yeah, if I could compare both of them, I would compare in terms of the scale of the Sonic community. Like, I think in terms of Summer Sonic, it would be like the E3 of the Sonic community. Whereas Sonic Boom would be like a step below, where it's
Gamecom.
yeah, which is funny that's gonna be brought up later on Gamescom. So yeah, it's like I said, I don't hate Sonic Boom. I just think there could be some room for a few improvements, like have a little bit more for the crowds. But otherwise, I'd imagine I could have fun time there. It's just, Summer Sonic, I could see a lot more potential, so to speak. Like I said, I'm not downplaying Sonic Boom. I just think I'm just giving feedback.
That's fair enough,
Yeah,
and it's cool to hear. I've got to say.
yeah. And I shall hopefully see you later, Pete, as he's heading off to bed, I believe. Um, yeah, it's 11 o'clock in the UK. I can imagine it's a pretty packed day for UK people, I'm
Well,
sure. So,
it's if you want to wake up for work tired or, you know,
yeah. Yep. Take care, Titans Creed. Pete, take care.
latest, Pete.
Yeah. But to answer the Skulls question, Sonic Boom is essentially a Sonic convention that was created by Sega themselves for America. Um, it's gonna take place in the same area as Comic Con is, which is supposed to take place, I believe, a week after Summer Sonic concludes. So, it's a week after Summer Sonic takes place. And take care, Pete. Um, oh yeah, swimming. I never would have guessed. Um, I thought it was work. Um, Yeah, say hi to say hi. Say bye to Project Phoenix. Yeah.
Bye, Project Phoenix.
Bye, Project Phoenix. Oh, goodness. But yeah, I, the Sonic Boom in its own way is alright. It started for the first time last year, and it's supposed to continue this year with Cash Cast and Crush 40 returning. The Sonic Boom that is. So, I mean, Sonic Boom, like I said, it's a Sonic convention, but it's targeted for the American people, whereas Summer Sonic is putting a little bit emphasis on people in the UK, but gladly welcome everyone that's a Sonic fan in welcome arms.
Well, I mean, we pride ourselves in like in reaching out to different people. I mean, like Dark Speeds comes over from Australia almost every year. We've had like the Evil Dot guys come over. Um, I think they're based in Germany. I can't remember off the top of my head, but generally, yeah, there's people make a lot of effort to come to Summer of Sonic, and it's awesome to see. So
It's great to see. I mean, people know how great Summer Sonic is and how magical it can be, and it helps to see Summer Sonic take off the way it has, and I'd imagine that we haven't heard the last of them even after Summer Sonic, concludes for this year. I wouldn't be surprised, you know, if it returns even bigger and better than next year. But for now, this year still has to be done. And, as I said, I do know a few things that are behind the scenes about Summer Sonic, but nothing huge, huge, nothing gigantic. But I do know a few behind the scenes things I'm not going to be saying. But Summer Sonic will probably get a lot of attention next week because as some of you have already known, I do believe once I work out the details, and I'm going to talk with him after the show ends, either in the next 24 hours, I'm intending, if things turn out to be the way I uh, had planned and what had been the case for a while now, next week's Sonic News show should be guest starring Dreadnoughts. So the guy, the founder of Summer Sonic, one of the founders of Summer Sonic, should be here next week, and also, of course, the founder of Sonic Stadium. And I'm gonna I'm gonna put emphasis on this now. I'm gonna remind you guys again later on, but don't, constantly bombard him with questions about Summer Sonic and things like that, because he's not gonna answer a lot of things. Summer Sonic is still gradually, new details are gradually coming out on their own. They're gonna announce them when they want to, but if you're gonna don't expect a lot of new, things to come out of the show next week. If there's any behind the scenes stuff you find out, you know, yay, I'm officially professional. I'm officially good. Um, but don't be surprised if the show doesn't get any. Don't be surprised if you don't hear anything new, so to speak. I mean, I'd imagine we're mostly talking about, as I said, the latest Sonic and Sega news, just like any other show. But if you're expecting any dirt on anything, you know, don't be very surprised if there isn't any. I'm just warning that right now. If there is, there is. If there isn't, there isn't. It's up to him. It's up to Sven if he wants to. But yeah, next week should be the Sonic News show with Dreadnoughts. I am hoping to see. It's going to be interesting because that show's going to happen after Sonic 4 Episode 2 came out, so that's going to probably be the main discussion, rather than Summer Sonic, depending on what, Summer Sonic news comes out. But, yeah, like I said, I don't know when Sven's going to be. I think he did say he did say he's interested in doing the show, and he did say he'll try to attend. Uh, I just don't know for sure if I don't want to safely say, hey, this is gonna happen. Until I know beyond any shadow of doubt, I've heard from Sen that he's plainly told me that he'll be here for the show, and he'll be here at May 20th at 9 p.m. UK, which is 4 p.m. Eastern. Yes, the Sonic News Show will be happening if Sven does attend, beyond a shadow of a doubt. And you can keep an eye on my Twitter for that, because I always give updated information, about guests on the show and, who I'm trying to consider for future shows and this and next thing. I will mention on Twitter the moment I know for sure, I will know for sure that Send is going to be on the show. And when I do, I will make a tweet saying, this is what's going to happen on the Sonic News Show next week. And as I said, I will try to find that out within the next day or two. Because as I said, now that this show has come and has pretty much arrived, and you know, the show with him supposed to be up next, I had to get more information. So, you know, I gotta get the rundown. But anyway, where were we? Oh yeah. Believe it or not, we're only on
Moving
top.
on.
Yeah, we're actually on the fourth topic, by the way, for those who are
It's all
keeping
good.
track. So we're getting there. Um, yeah, the Sonic Generations music team, yeah, they answered some fan questions recently.
Okay, this is new to me.
Yeah, they actually, apparently there was this giant Q&A that happened within the past few months, I believe, was the last few months, where they answered, where pe loads of fans answered, gave the group many, many, many questions. Well, in this past week, they did actually post all their answers. I believe Cash Cash was there. To answer them. I believe Jun Tsunoi was there too. Um, among a few others. They didn't really have a whole lot of new information to share, but they did have some highlights. And I believe the link is at it can be found in various sites, including Summer Sonic Stadium and TSSC News, and it's not really hard to find them. Um, like I said, they answered a crap load of questions. I think they were like 100 questions or something like that.
Wow.
I want to say 100. Might have been a lot less. I don't even know, but judging from what I think that was the amount of questions they actually received. I don't know about the exact amount they answered, but
Yeah, yeah.
they got a crap load of questions, so it wasn't easy to get through every one of them. Um, but yeah. It's it it's pretty cool to check out. It's interesting if you have any spare time. And
Oh,
I
I'm
shall see you
sure.
later, Casey. Um,
Bye, Casey.
but yeah, it's something cool to check out in your spare time. And of course, we did find out recently that Sega, speaking of Gamescom, Sega is not going to be attending Gamescom this year.
Which doesn't surprise me, I've got to say, considering the downsizing that's been going on.
And considering they don't really have that much to show anyway, because we know they're
Well, they usually use those events for kind of big announcements and demos of things that have only recently been announced. And unless they've got something up their sleeve, I think they'd only really be showing Sonic and All Stars Racing. So uh, there's obviously not a huge amount of focus that that event needs to have on that because it's already going to be having a lot of focus at different events
yeah, but
prior. So
Yeah, besides they're probably saving up, and even if they do have a big announcement, they're probably saving it up for E3 because
yeah, well, there's that obviously.
yeah, we already know that I should mention again because I mentioned it, when it was first revealed that Sega will be at E3. They're not going to be at Gamescom, but they will be at E3 as they usually are. So if we
Hmm.
get any new Sonic news, it's going to be at E3. The next, onslaught of, if we get another trailer, it'll be then. And of course, we already know that E3 is going to take place in a few weeks, I believe. Let me check. Yeah, it'll be in a few weeks. E3 is only a few weeks away, guys. Um, pretty much I want to say it's the last E3 of this current generation of video game consoles too.
Probably is. Think about it.
Because the Wii U is supposed to come out later this year.
Yep.
And I'd imagine there's rumors going around that Microsoft and Sony are not too far behind from,
Well, I think
making it
if
out
you're
to
going
be
to
they
hear
have a
anything, it's
console.
going to be this year, isn't it? So,
I mean, I of course we'll actually get my, we'll talk more about E3, a little bit more next week, because next week is going to be the last Sonic News show for a little while. After the show is Rednux, we're going to be taking a break for a few weeks. Namely because, of course, I have E3 coverage to deal with. I'm going to be covering E3 from May 21st all the way to June 7th, 8th, or something like that. I keep forgetting the end date, but May 21st all the way to June 7th or 8th will be E3 coverage. Of course, the days in May for E3 coverage are pre-E3 coverage, but the main E3 coverage will be in June. But yes, I have a good couple of weeks of E3 coverage to do. And as I said, that will end the Sonic News show for only a few weeks, as I said. It's going to take a little bit of a break. And I do believe we should be back on June 10th, 2012, you know, summarizing what happened at E3 in terms of Sonic and Sega news. And then after that, I mean, other than that, that will be the permanent time for the show will be at its permanent time of 6 p.m. Eastern, 11 p.m. UK. It'll be permanent from then on out. It's not gonna be 8 o'clock Eastern, 1 a.m. UK anymore. Um, as I have stated on Twitter, there's multiple reasons why, but I felt that a time change was really needed, and this is probably the best time frame I could think of after all that has been going on. And what the hell am I seeing? Someone just give me a okay. I'm not sure what to make of this.
what's happened?
Um, I got blinked this picture on Twitter. I don't know. It's in the stream. I'm showing it in the stream, but yeah. Uh, I'm afraid. Um,
I'm gonna have to check this out now.
yeah, I have it on the stream right now. I'm kind of creeped out a little. Um, it's kind of huge. I mean, kind of there we go. There we are.
I need to get on the stream. I'm trying to find it on your Twitter, but it's not there by this thing.
Yeah, it's not on there. I'll retweet it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Right, yeah, I can see it.
Yeah, now you can see it. I don't know anymore. Oh goodness. That stuff's never gonna die, is it? That bum joke. This show has been forever tainted with bum. Why? Uh, goodness. But yeah, I'd imagine we're gonna get something good sounding at E3 this year, and we'll see. How was it my fault? I had nothing to do with it. But yeah, we did actually get. Also, we did get some sale numbers some hardcore sale numbers for the second time in a while of Mario and Sonic 2012 Olympic Games and Generations. We now know how much Mario and Sonic at the London 2012 Olympic Games has sold, and we now know how much Sonic Generations has sold.
What were those numbers?
Well, Mario and Sonic at the London 2012 Olympic Games has sold 3,280,000 copies.
Wow. Wow, that's actually a really good figure.
Yeah.
I was a little bit worried that interest in that series had kind of fallen.
Now,
But that's a really good number.
yeah, that was Mario and Sonic at the London 2012 Olympic Games' figures. Now, for
Mm.
Sonic Generations sold 1,850,000 copies.
That's damn good for a Sonic game.
It
I mean,
is.
sales haven't been great for the Sonic series for a while, so to break 1 million is really good for that series.
I mean, it's not on the scale that Colors has gotten, but it's still quite a few, you know,
Mm.
copies. It's nearly at 2 million, so 2 million, Chris, and 3 million, that's not really a big of a difference. But
Mm.
nevertheless, both games are doing great. It's really good to see that Sonic games are starting to sell again. You know, get some high figures like they used to so many years ago. I
Well,
honestly,
that's going to be attributed to the quality of the games. I mean, generations and colours are infinitely better than some of the 3D games we've been getting recently. So, quality sells.
yep, infinite quality. Infinite quality. Drill, spikes, laser. Uh, nah, I'm kidding. It's but yeah, the sales aren't bad. It could of course they could be a little bit better, but as I said, it could have been worse. You never know. They still did sell well though. I mean, that's better than I expected. But
Mm.
nevertheless, I'd imagine those sales will go up even more, by the end of the year. Wouldn't surprise me if Generations breaks 2 million by the end of the year, and we'll see about how much Mario Sonic the
Well,
London 2012 games sells.
there's not another big boxed Sonic game coming out this year, so there's obviously going to be long tail in generations. So fingers crossed it can break 2 million.
Yeah, there is, no question. But of course, Sonic and All-Stars Racing Transform, which has pretty much become the next thing related to Sonic, and you know, it, once Sonic 4 Episode 2 comes out, everyone's going to be turning their attention completely over to All-Stars Racing Transform.
Mm.
Since, as I said, Sonic 4 Episode 2 is still kind of getting that attention, taking away
Mm.
that attention for a little bit. But the thing about Sonic and Sega All Star Sonic and All Stars Racing Transformed is that it's not really gonna have to worry about a Sonic game this time around the same time it comes out. Whereas when All Stars
Yeah.
Racing came out, I believe, coincidentally, I think it was not too far off from episode 1, I believe.
Oh, I wouldn't know.
It either came out in 2009 or 2010, and I want to say it was 2010 because I think the trailer for it came out in 2009.
Yeah,
But
it definitely wasn't that. It definitely wasn't 2009.
yeah, um, yeah. What Sonic
I think
Full
you're right, though. Actually,
Yeah, I think it didn't. I think it was. I think it came out in February 2010, and Sonic 4 Episode 1 came out in October, I believe. Um, yeah, I think it was October that it came out. Somewhere around like the
but
latter
yeah,
half
there
of the year.
wasn't a huge gap between them. I think you're right. Yeah.
Yeah. Whereas All Stars Racing, it's gonna be coming out on its own. It's not gonna have like
Yeah.
a Sonic game being developed around the same time. Assuming, I'd imagine we'll probably I imagine by then we'll know what the next Sonic game will be, but it's going to be far from it coming out by then, I imagine. I think Sonic 4
Mm.
Episode 2 will be the next has been the next Sonic game, but what we're going to get next, what will the next main Sonic game be? We don't know yet. There is no way, no telling what it'll be yet. And like I said, it's a matter of time, before Sega's not going to hold off on not announcing a Sonic game for long. I'd imagine we're not going to get any new Sonic game news for maybe a month or two. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if E3 came and went without any news at a new Sonic game. But if we do hear the next Sonic game, it will be in the next few months, I'd imagine. As is usually the case, Sega allows for a bit of a gap or two, like a month or two, for people to try out the game before they start revving up for the next game. So
They've usually got some development time behind them before they announce anything. That seems to be the case with most Sega games.
yeah, they're not going to be rushing to put out announce the next game even after episode 2 comes out. So we'll
Yeah, no,
see
I wouldn't expect to hear anything
for a while.
until a good few months after episode 2. Yeah.
So it'll probably be a slow news time in that gap. But
Well, I think
what?
you'll still have a focus on Transform.
Yeah, I mean there is that, but as in full-blown Sonic news, it's going to be a little bit
Yeah, no, I know what
slower.
you mean.
But as
Yeah,
in
maybe.
yeah, as in Sega as a whole, it's going to be very active. So I
Mm.
wouldn't be surprised if Transform becomes the next main focus. I think for the next month it'll be E3 and Summer Sonic, And then after E3 ends, it's going to be Summer of Sonic mainly. And then I think it'll become more so All Stars Racing Transform from then on out. And then
Mm.
maybe Boom, Sonic Boom for a bit. But so the
Well,
topic's
Sonic
gonna be
Boom isn't too far after Summer of Sonic.
yeah, that's what I meant briefly. But yeah, I mean the topics are gonna shift around a little bit, but I think it's gonna get more steady once Sonic Boom concludes. And then it's gonna
Mm.
be pretty much Sonic and Sega and Sonic and All Stars Racing Transform for the rest of the year, I'd imagine. But
Yeah.
yeah, other than that, Super Monkey Ball Vita had bikinis.
Yeah, that was a bit strange, wasn't it?
Yes, their unusual advertising campaign continued when they put up another ad
I don't
recently.
think I've seen the latest, but I saw the previous two, and it's just bizarre. It made me laugh, though, I've got to say.
Yeah, I believe the latest ad talks about boobs,
That's no bad thing.
as in monkey balls boobs. I don't get
Wait,
it
what?
either. But nevertheless, Sega's advertising campaign, yeah, that is one of a kind. I'm
I don't think it's a series that does particularly well in Japan, so I think they were just kind of pushing for any sort of shock advertisement that's gonna, get them just at least some attention, I suppose.
yeah, they got an A+ for that. Um, the oh goodness, that I'm glad I did not catch, I didn't watch the commercials anymore after that because those were weird. Goodness.
But yeah, that's obviously going to be a Japanese exclusive thing because I don't think they can license their model's likeness for a Western audience, and I don't think we particularly need it. Have you seen the stage gameplay?
I'm not if the gameplay is anything like we've seen in the commercials, I'm be kind of freaked out. Uh,
Well, it's just like regardless of boob ramp, the stage kind of looks a bit rubbish, like it was thrown together like really quickly. So I don't think we're missing much.
yeah, I don't think we're missing much either, and to be honest, I don't really like the Vita. I'm gonna be pretty blunt about it. I don't really like the Vita. It just seems like something that is more. It's like a PSP mixed with a DS. So, if that's the best way to explain it. And I already have both. It's really nothing worth going gung ho over. The Vita, honestly, I think the 3DS is more of something I would get than Vita. Because the Vita doesn't have 3D.
I don't
And
know how much 3D really adds to something. I'm not a massive fan of 3D. I mean, it's good for what it is, but it's just sort of like an effect more than anything. It's like I don't really go out of my way to watch a 3D film over a 2D film, and I don't feel the same way. I feel pretty similar about games as well. The thing that like interests me in the Vita is just the games. Like, there's some really good bits and pieces on it that I'd like to give a go. I mean, the new Wipeout looks great. Um, I'm interested to see what like the fighters are like on PSV because there's obviously Mortal Kombat and Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom. Um, and I mean, I've seen I've had a muck around with one, and like graphically, for a portable, that's some amazing looking stuff. But I mean, the 3DS has got some good things going for it as well. Nintendo generally get like portable down really well. Like their games load quick, and it's just really functional and just easy to use for anybody, regardless of the 3D. And but it's just I don't know. It doesn't feel like they've got the stronger games at the moment. There's a lot of as per usual, there's a lot of like mini game and silliness on the 3DS at the moment, and there needs more like I don't want to say hardcore. I hate that bloody word, but there needs to be more proper 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 games. It's like
It needs
there's a
more
lot of
3D.
experiments and like movie tie-ins on the 3DS at the moment, and they need more like killer apps.
Yeah, it
I mean,
needs.
obviously, recently we got Kid Icarus and Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater like re-release, which was a bit pointless considering the collection came out recently as well. So yeah, I don't know about that, but
Yeah,
like Skullwolf says, 3DS games are mostly like rehashes of other things.
yeah, the 3DS definitely needs some more third-party support, but
Oh, totally.
I think they're answering that with the Wii U, which is good. They realize the thing about Nintendo is that they do see their problems. Like they know exactly what their problems are and they fix them.
Hmm.
And that is what that's one of the things I do like about Nintendo is that any mistakes they have, they do go eventually they eventually correct them. You know, it takes them might take them a while, but they do eventually correct them.
Hmm. I
And
mean,
it,
that's another thing I'm kind of waiting for with the 3DS is I'm sure in the pipeline there must be a twin stick 3DS revision model coming out because that Circle Pad Pro thing is just like the most unnecessary device I've ever seen. I mean, obviously you need it for certain games, but the fact that it doesn't even run off the internal power and you need separate batteries is just absolutely just one of the most stupid things I've ever seen. That, they really need. If that is going if a second stick is going to be important to games, then they're going to need to re-release a 3DS with a second stick because I think I think that's what's putting a lot of people off getting a 3DS at the moment is the fact that if they want a twin stick, they need to get this additional clunky. It's massive that thing as well. It makes it so huge when the system is actually quite compact if you don't have it.
yeah.
So yeah, there definitely needs to be a revision at some point so that it's just a sleeker machine with an extra stick so that people can use that for what they want it for.
Yeah, I'd imagine they'll get that done sooner or later, but yeah, as for the show we were talking about, um, yeah, I do believe we are nearly done, but we do have a couple more topics to bring up, and
Okay.
one of them being Sega announcing that they have gotten the winners of their Jet Set Radio tag drawing contest.
That's been a bit all up in arms, isn't it?
Yeah, it's been interesting, needless to say. I mean, it's good to see they're still, keeping uh, good connections with the fans and doing contests and tests and everything, despite that they had to wipe out all their UK division
Yeah,
their
well,
community division. But
I think that's generally what caused the delay in the results, didn't it? Because I think people have been waiting on the results for quite a while, and yeah, there's obviously been internal things going on in Sega, so it must have caused the delay.
yeah, definitely. I mean, I mean, at least people are getting some involvement in the game. The fans are getting a little bit, even though it's not in the game itself, as in, the basic coding, they're getting into the game through with their tags they made, and I like that. It's pretty cool to see. But
Yeah, no, it's it. Well, I mean, how often can you say, "Oh, wow, my artwork is in a game"? That's pretty cool.
yeah, of course we know some people who had their names in a game, but that's a different
Yeah, to actually
story.
contribute like graphics is that's something else. So
Yeah. And of course, I do want to mention real quick that if you guys want to hear more of Sega Driven, you can check out Titan's Creed's, aka Project Phoenix's, community spotlight, which has been a weekly month. I think it's been a more so weekly series. I want to say. I don't know for sure. I think it's more monthly than weekly, but the community spotlight series has been going on strong, despite the fact that he's no longer on the Sonic Rex staff. But despite this, he recently interviewed our little guest here on the show,
I
and
did indeed.
you can check it out on YouTube and also on Sega Media. And it went for a good hour, which is funny. I mean, you guys, it was just a full-blown interview, getting to nitty-gritty, and yet you guys still took an hour.
Oh,
And
it's. I want to give a good answer.
must have been very detailed ones. But yeah, you can also catch, as of course, the Radio Sega Community Spotlight, and of course, the Sonic Paradox Community Spotlight, which was the first, with the first one that came out with the new Community Spotlight series on Sega, uh, the Community Spotlight YouTube channel. And of course, I'd imagine we're gonna be finding out who the next people are very soon. Imagine who the next Community Spotlight will be in a few weeks from now. But yes, if you wish to check out Project Phoenix's Community Spotlight series, it's on YouTube. You can even, if you want to get even more links to the interview, or if you want to follow the very man himself that does the Community Spotlight, you can follow Titan's Creed on Twitter. And on that note, it's just a bunch of plugging for the rest of the show. Um, yeah, it's just me plugging a couple of things real quick.
Okay.
If you guys haven't noticed that I have been on the Sonic show's videos lately. Uh, they do a show every Friday, called Let's Play Fridays. Well, they're doing a special Let's Play of Sonic 4 Episode 2 this time, and they're uploading a new part every day, uh, until as to mark the release of the game. And every part is a new zone. Well, I'm in the majority of the parts. I'm not in every part, but I'm in the majority of them. So far what has been put up is me, AUK, Kevin Eva, and um, Disco Ponies all commenting on the project, the episode Metal DLC. We were kind of surprised at the outcome, but we also did a video which came out today of me, Disco Ponies again, and Tanner, all commenting about, I forget what the name, I think it was Dusty Desert Zone or something like that. The desert one. Um, Tomorrow, I can't recall what the next one will be, but I don't believe I was in that part. I'll give a little preview. I don't believe I was in that part. However, after that part, I'm in the rest. Um, I believe there are 5 parts, not counting episode Metal. I don't know for sure. I think there are like 5, 6 parts. So far, 2 of the main playthroughs gone up and the episode metal content. So there'll only be like a few more days of the videos, and then the playthrough should be done, I think. But nevertheless, until the playthrough's done, you can expect a new part every day at 12 p.m. Eastern, which is 5 p.m. UK, if I remember correctly. Um, and do check it out. It's on the Sonic Show's YouTube channel, which is of course the Sonic Show. And also, oh man, I can't believe this is still happening, but um, this Saturday, which is going to pretty much be the start of a huge block of like a huge series of streams. 19th is what I'm going to be plugging. 20th, of course, is the Sonic News Show with Rednux, and then for another 2 weeks, it's going to be like 2, 3 weeks is going to be E3 coverage, and then June 10th will be the return of the Sonic News Show at its new permanent time. Ah, why? Why so many streams? Uh,
You've made too much work for yourself there, Donny, I think.
I think I have. But yes, this all kicks off. All these streams kick off on May 19th with the Internet Ass Kick Donnie Day stream. Yes, it's actually called that, thanks to you guys at Sonic Paradox being goofballs as they are. Um, it's something that started up last year, where last year I had to go through some gauntlet obstacle course in Minecraft. This year I have been dared to play Sonic 1 Omochao edition for 5 hours straight.
Oh, harsh.
Yes, I have to play Sonic 1 Omochao edition for 5 hours straight.
That sounds about as long as it's going to take you to complete it.
Yes, and it is going to be streamed and put up on YouTube because I'm that much of a generous butthead. But yes, let me see, starting at 9 a.m. Eastern. That is 10, 11, 12, 1, 2. That's about 2 p.m. UK, if I remember correctly. Let me see, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2. Yep, 2 p.m. UK time. 9 a.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. UK will be the start of the stream where I have to play Sonic 1 Omocho Edition for 5 hours straight. It's
Surely
going
there
to,
should be some sort of charity sponsorship going on for that. That sounds like hell.
uh, it's going to. If anyone has any sympathy for me, you know, by all means. If you want to give me any sympathy presents, I'm not gonna force it. Feel free. I have a wish list on Steam. I don't know anymore. This is just, oh my god, this stream's gonna be insane. My god, I'm gonna be so loaded with hatred of Omuchao after this is gonna be done. But, Pum Radio will sponsor me. Really? Oh goodness.
There you go.
But yeah, it's going to be a really crazy stream, having to put up with Sonic 1 Omuchao Edition for 5 hours straight. But nevertheless, as I said, it's going to kick off what is a super series, like a giant series of streams. Just, I don't think I've ever streamed that constantly in a good long while. I think this time last year was the last time I streamed this much, um, this constantly. But yes, I will be streaming daily, pretty much, from May 19th all the way to June 10th. That's insane. And I've been saying insane a lot in this show. Uh, but yes, it's gonna be crazy. And as I said, you can catch, as I said, the main highlights are gonna be, of course, next week's show, May 20th, and then, of course, the E3 2012 coverage. Goodness knows how that's gonna turn out. But nevertheless, uh, I'm gonna be a busy boy this next month. I will be busy. And of course, if you guys need any updates on the exact times of any of these streams, you can check it out on the SP forums. I have every I've pretty much the times down for every single stream. Now you know what time this stream will be taking place on the 19th. You know when the 20th, the stream my show on the 20th takes place. You know when the E3 coverage is going to be on, and you know when the show's going to be returning and what time permanently. So pretty much the entire schedule has been laid out for the next month. Enjoy, guys. I'm keep making my ass tired as hell for you guys. Yay! Uh, moving on. Uh, goodness. I deserve a medal for this. Um, with that in mind, I believe that is all the topics for tonight. I believe we've covered everything. Mother's Day, it being Mother's Day. Yes, I do realize it is Mother's Day, but it hasn't really felt that way. I've pretty much it hasn't felt like Mother's Day. I didn't even know it was going to be Mother's Day until yesterday. That's how much I haven't really been paying much attention to it. How much I really, you know, haven't cared to be honest. It's, you know, Mother's Day. It's really, you know, like I said, I have not really. I'm gonna be blunt. It's just, like I said, I have not really. It's like I said, I didn't really know it was gonna be Mother's Day today until yesterday. I didn't know Sunday, May 13th was or what was it? Sunday, yeah, May 13th. I didn't know Sunday, May 13th was Mother's Day, to be honest. I really didn't. But yeah, with that in mind, that is the show for tonight. What do you know? And it was in less than 2 hours too. So I was actually right there. Um, yeah, any plugging you wish to do?
um, well, check out Sega Driven, www.segadriven.com. Um, give us some feedback. I'd like to hear some some feedback on the site. You can also add us on Facebook, facebook.com/SegaDriven. It's always nice to hear back from fans, and we're trying to get a bit of a community going. So I'd be really appreciate hearing feedback on some of the roundtable features we've done, and any of the news that's going around at the moment. It's always nice to hear from everyone. So please come and say hi and whatnot. You can also follow me on Twitter at SegaDriven, and if you want to follow my personal account, it's at SonicYoda. But I I must warn you that I do tend to swear a lot and talk about heavy metal, so there there is that. But yeah, thanks Donny for having us on the show. It's been a good laugh. So
Yeah, I'm proud of this. I'm proud of. I am proud. Goodness, I need another drink.
it's
I'm
getting
proud.
late.
Yeah, it's getting starting to get late for me now. But I'm proud of how the show, went today, and I didn't even realize that Sega Driven had a Facebook, official Facebook too, so I just like that. Um,
Oh, cool. Thanks.
yeah, I had no idea they had a Facebook, so it's a good thing you mentioned that. Um, I feel bad about that too, because usually I thought I knew all the links, but apparently not, so I'm fucked up. Um, yeah, it's been a good show. Of course, as I said before, stay tuned next week, guys. I'd imagine this will be an even better show. I mean, this has been a great show, but I don't know how next week's gonna go, because considering Dreadnoughts is supposed to be on there, who knows how that's gonna go. I mean, this went pretty insane, but with a show with Dreadnoughts in it could go anywhere. But yeah, as I said, tune in next week, and we should see Dreadnoughts for the next Sonic News show, which will be taking place. I should clarify it will be taking place in an hour earlier than today's. It should be taking place at 4 p.m. Eastern Time, 9 a.m. UK. So it'll be an hour earlier than this week and 2 hours earlier than the normal time, the permanent time that will be uh, instated as of June 10th. But nevertheless, I will keep you guys up to date on any news on the Sonic News Show, in terms of, what's gonna happen next week, and hopefully I can get topics for next week. That's really my main concern right now. It's not so much that Dreadnoughts is not gonna be there, it's that I need the topics to talk about. But yeah. On that note, I shall see you guys soon. See you guys next week. For now,
Bye.
stay tuned for a Saturday Night Sega tomorrow night on Radio Sega. Saturday Night Sega is going to take place tomorrow night because they were late. Because goodness knows, I believe it was something to do with Gavi working, something like that. But yes, Saturday Night Sega tomorrow night. I forget what the time was. Um, crap. Um, Lord be with me. Uh, this is this is sad. I can't even remember. Um, Let me see. Tune in. F it. There's gonna be there's gonna be a Saturday Night Sega. That's right. It's gonna be at the same time as Saturday Night Sega usually takes place on Saturdays, which is 5 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. or no, 10 p.m. UK. There will also be Sword of Sega on Wednesday. I forget what time that is. God damn it. Um, I'm so knowledgeable on times. Sword of Sega should be on Wednesday, if I remember correctly. Friday, Turbo Drive Live, should be on at 3 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. UK on Friday. Saturday should be another Saturday Night Sega, and I believe there's supposed to be either Friday or Saturday there should be a Sonic 4 Episode 2 soundtrack edition of a Saturday Night Sega as well. To celebrate the release of the game and its music, sort of. Um, and of course, I said Saturday Night Sega, and then Sunday we return with the big, of course, Sunday night Sonic lineup. That being Radio Redux with Cabin Eva, AUK, at 2 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. UK. I don't believe there's gonna be anything going on an hour afterwards. I believe I do believe Disco Ponies is still gonna be on vacation on his honeymoon, so he won't be back for next week either. Um, so either we have another Turbo Drive Live Let's Plays stream, as we did today, or it's just gonna be me and AUK doing our lineup, normal lineup for being part of our lineup for this coming week. But yes, people can just check Radio Sega tomorrow, as Rabbit Noodle said. But yes, that is pretty much all there is to it. Sunday Night Sonic. You know, as I said, my show will be on it. Jeez. Uh, what did I say? I said 4 p.m. UK. I'm gonna get this right. To 9 p.m. East. 4 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. UK. Good night, everybody. This has been the Sonic News Show for the night. I am not with it today. Um, take care, everyone. I'll see you sometime next week. If I don't see you before Song 4 Episode 2 comes out, have a great time playing the game. I'm hoping it's a great game. I'm hoping you guys enjoy it. I will see you guys soon. If I don't see you this coming week, I'll see you next Sunday. And see you then. Thanks, Louis, for actually being here for today.
Not a problem.
I mean, I appreciate the last minute notice because I know I sent the I asked you like literally 2 days before the show was supposed to take place, so you know,
No, that's fine. And cheers for moving it back an hour because, yeah, I didn't. I really should have paid attention to what you'd actually said about time wise because I didn't realise it was going to be that late. But yeah, no, it's fine, and I'm glad I took part. So thanks for having us on, man.
no problem. It turned out to be a great show. I mean, full of me fucking up, yeah, but it turned out to be a great show. This is why I always joke about my professionality, and I can't say worth a shit. So I'm just going to go ahead and head out before I humiliate myself anymore than I did, and thank everyone for watching. And as I said, I'll see you guys next Sunday night well, technically it's not Sunday night for me at that point next week, but I don't know, it'll be nighttime for those in UK. But yes, thanks to everyone for watching. I will see you 4 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. UK, if indeed we do have a show with Dreadnoughts next week. And if we don't, well, if you can join me for a good hour, just me, then good. There's a chance we might actually have someone else there if I can scrounge up some guests, but right now it's gonna be me and Dreadnoughts. I have no doubt in my mind that um Dreadnoughts does intend on being on the show. I just have to get the official word. So nevertheless, I shall see you guys next Sunday. I'm gonna stop saying that before I fuck up even more. And I will take care everyone. Have a great week. Enjoy Sonic 4 Episode 2. I'm hoping it's gonna be a great game. I'm gonna be up all night when it does come out on my end on Xbox Live. But anyway, take care, everyone. Night. Have a
Bye.
good weekend.
Farm time.